later. We have from the Dene Nation, Navajo Nation, Larry Foster would like to say an opening prayer for us before we go into the drums.
Yeah, okay. Good evening, all the relatives from the four directions. Thank you for your support here. If everyone can stand, we're going to present a prayer. And those that don't have prayers, we just be reverence to free Leonard Peltier. We're going to focus here, put all your energies that's not going to be utilized. Use the good energies because we need to free Leonard Peltier. So I'm going to say a prayer and open the sense of our spirituality and the movement that we're going to go about to continue that journey, to also free all the political prisoners here and the people that made that stand with the American Indian movement, and all of the medicine people that we remembered and that have gone. And then our sacred drum here, the young man, the young spirit, they got a voice, they got a thought. So I'm going to go ahead and say a prayer. Not only known for American Indian movement, what's all this then? Free Leonard Peltier. Based on Lenny, and all Lenny, Nitched Yat Elpitol Yet, although twin Lenny do Yat a das Zologos. Do Yakon in this case. One Lenny, Jan Lenny, another Lenny, chain Lenny, a Lenny, the Jean Dollar. And now that I don't need. But Shin so cat, another cat, the Kaya. And now had Lord of could not at all. To now had Lord of the Kano, Gia. What I Yakon. In jihad is founded in Jopa, Chakashla this time. We all know that he entered the snap. I don't need yard or now the dogs in corn. Be yard or nane dado if not some card or corn. Hard ashad ato air, I don't know how consequent. Be so the zen. The yard in need all day. Way yo, way young. Way yo, way young. Way yo, way away on, hey ya, hey ya. Hey yo, way young. Hey yo, way away on, hey ya, hey ya. Hey yo, way young. Hey ya yo, we are away, hey ya, hey ya. Hey ya yo, we are young. Hey ya yo, we are young. Hey ya yo, we are away, hey ya, hey
hey ya yo, we ya, hey ya yo, we ya, awelo, hey ya, hey ya yo, we ya, hey ya yo, we ya, awelo, hey ya. Nasa shema, zizbika hojon etatolesh. Hey ya yo, we ya, hey ya yo, we ya, awelo, hey ya. Hojon dolesh kon, jinadi san dolesh kon, be hojon tayao etolesh. Shidogonit konden zikis aje konde, adon hitzolezen ditsa. Kot aye ben jahasi dolesh. Hat ashada ato ato na hamko. Kot eda hadigin dobe. Even at you, would you not sleep, Ole? Would you not sleep? Would you not sleep? Would you not sleep? A home, a dark way, I say.
Thank you for your reverence.
Hello, hello. All right, you want to introduce yourself? This should be ready to go.
Habarake api chante washte na be choose apelo cheta akichi tala kocha je imache pelo na van stands washichu chaje imache pelo. Oglala nasi chongo la kote oyati pi lamielo. Hello everyone, I greet your hand with a good heart. My name is Von Stans and this is my drum group known as Mid Noon. We're from Manderson, South Dakota. So thank you.
So they're going to play us a song. Take it away.
Thank you very much. Thank you. They'll be back. And we have Hatuk drumming also. Good evening. My name is Peter Clark. My family and I are originally from New Jersey. We've been here in Albuquerque since 2005 and coordinating locally and really trying globally for Leonard Peltier, especially since 2009 when he had his first parole hearing and was denied parole. So we have a busy schedule tonight. We have Lenny Foster from Navajo Nation Correction Project, American Indian Movement, International Indian Treaty Council. We have Amanda Blackhorse here who would join us. Luckily for us, she was in town for the university's American Indian Studies Conference. So I want to give a quick update on Leonard. Since his parole in 2009, since his denial, there's been significant documentation and efforts on his behalf, both with the National Congress of American Indians, who in 2009, with the help of Lenny Foster, passed a resolution in support of clemency for Leonard. The important part of that resolution was the final statement of the resolution that said they would help actively with the legal team. And that's the first time in years of trying that they agreed to that stipulation where they will help get meetings with the administration and facilitate that. The next 2 years with Obama in office are critical. Leonard feels it's his last chance. He doesn't feel he will live to make it through another presidency till we get to the point where we have a lame duck president who doesn't feel he has anything to lose. So the time is now for each and every one of us to take this on as our effort for the next 2 years, with the belief that our prayers and our hard work will make this happen. The first immediate thing that Leonard would like to have is a transfer to a medium security prison. He's been in United States Penitentiary, Coleman 1, which is a high security penitentiary. Life would be a little easier for him, medium security. Hopefully health care would be a little better. I believe they're done setting up the video. We have a video here that was, oh, not yet? Not yet. Okay, I'll continue with my update, but we have a video. Jack Healy from the Human Rights Action Center, formerly head of Amnesty International from the mid-'80s through the '90s, just recently put out his own campaign in support of freedom for Leonard. And if we get the video going shortly, or if not, we'll get it towards the end of the night. But I wanted to show that because it really boils it down to what we need. We need people to call. It's on my banner that we'll see for the rest of the night, to call the White House at 202-456-1111. And traditionally, we've been asking people to call in on Fridays for Leonard. So does everybody here have a cell phone? Can we all put that number in our cell phone and try and call when you have a moment and you think about Leonard, or he comes up? Have that White House comment line number on your cell phone and go ahead. The people are very receptive if anybody's called there, I don't know. They're very receptive. They already have like a check mark for Leonard Peltier calls. So this is something that's told very important. You want to know the number again? Yeah. 202-456-1111. That's the most positive thing that people can do, is to keep calling with a positive message for Obama, that we feel Obama is the man to do this. He is the only person who can free Leonard at this time. And along with the I Will Ask. So Jack Healy initiated this I Will Ask. Got a lot of dignitaries, a lot of important people to help put out this PSA, pretty much an infomercial on I Will Ask for Clemency as Leonard. It's as simple as that for the public. We all have to ask. When Obama was still a senator in 2008, he was in South Dakota, and he saw Leonard Crow Dog there. And Leonard Crow Dog asked him, "What about Leonard Peltier? What are you going to do for Leonard Peltier?" Obama's answer was, "Get me the support." What is that support? It's political. That's what we work on. That's what his committee works on, keeping things going politically. Support is public. That's each and every one of us calling and reminding Obama that we want Leonard out. So another thing is, this is a solidarity event with Leonard. All the events that coordinators and supporters of Leonard around the world are doing today are in solidarity with other political prisoners, with other struggles. I know of about 12 different events happening tonight for this in Europe. I guess they've already happened, California, New York. So it's a good solidarity. And in that vein, we have a lot of support this year from the different organizations. Tonight was co-sponsored by Unoccupy Albuquerque. Go to, give me a hand, yeah. They help provide the food that we'll be serving later. And then we have a new group, the rednation.org, new collective of activists who are supporting this event. Answer Coalition, New Mexico, supporting the event. Each group deserves a hand. And then I'm sure, looking around the room, I'm sure there's people who are either part of organization. I was going to say, there's people here from different nations, different tribes, different organizations, some people who just activists on their own. Anybody here want to shout out like Scott did where you're from?
Southwest Organizing Project.
All right. This is a solidarity event. Who else? Any other buddy want to shout out? Yeah, we have Supai Waters traveled here. He had a rough trip here all the way from Havasupai, and we appreciate him coming. And I utmost want to thank the Albuquerque Center for Peace and Justice. They've been the host to all the Peltier events that my family and the group here at Albuquerque Unoccupy have done since at least 2009. And this is a great turnout. Those beginning ones, it was sometimes just the organizers talking and signing birthday cards and such. So at this time, I'm sorry? Oh, and there's lots of chairs up front, so don't be afraid to make noise and interrupt me right now and come find a seat. Make yourself comfortable, because we're going to have Lenny talk. I'm kind of waiting. We're okay on the video? So we don't have an amplifier for the video, but as soon as I hand the microphone, we're going to hold it in front of the video. And when the video stops, I'm going to call my good friend and colleague Lenny up here and introduce him. So if somebody could work the lights for him, dim the lights.
Leonard was in good spirit when I saw him, and he's very anxious, and he's very hopeful. I encourage him to continue to pray and have faith. Likewise, with the prayer that I made, that President Obama will be moved, he'll sign the executive clemency and we'll free him.
This call is from a federal prison. Of course, I'm very sorry for the lives that were lost that day. I'd be grateful if the president would give me clemency. I would be grateful if he gave me justice and gave my people justice.
The firefight erupted, and it brings sadness not just to me, but the people of the Pine Ridge, that people were killed that day. 2 FBI agents, Jack Kohler and Ron Williams, and the Indian man that was killed that day was Joe Stuntz. And our people, we never condone the killing. It was a tragedy. We have had ceremonies after that incident, prayer ceremonies, to pray for the 2 FBI agents whose lives were taken that day. Our people prayed for their families, giving them strength and spirit. To this day, we still feel for the loss of these 3 individuals. We're still ourselves in a healing process.
Clemency for Leonard Peltier would not only send him home, but would send a signal of freedom and justice for all Indians in North, Central, and South America.
Leonard Peltier has endured 4 decades in prison, thousands of miles from home and family.
The trial that convicted him was called into question by Amnesty International and many respected human rights groups from around the world.
The Assembly of First Nations Chiefs of Canada supported.
And the National Congress of American Indians.
Support has come from every community, including Pete Seeger, Coretta Scott King, and Nelson Mandela.
A remedy is prescribed by law.
The Constitution provided for it. It's called clemency.
It's the supreme law of the land.
Clemency is compassion.
Clemency is leniency. Clemency is mercy.
Leonard was sent to jail just months after the Vietnam War ended.
Gasoline was only 60 cents a gallon.
How many people does it take to fix it?
One person can right this wrong. Just one. The president.
7 presidents have occupied the White House since Leonard Peltier has been in jail.
Please add your voice to ours in asking President Obama to right this wrong at last.
I will. Will you?
We will.
We will. We will.
I'm asking the younger generation worldwide to help bring Leonard Peltier home.
I will.
We will.
I will.
We will.
We will. We will.
Who will join me in asking for clemency? I will.
I will.
I will.
I will. You?
I will.
I will.
I will.
I will. I will.
I will.
I will.
I will. I will.
I will.
I will.
I will.
I will.
I will. Will you?
I will let Leonard know he's not alone.
All of us have one thing in common. We would like to see Leonard Peltier be free now.
Now is the time for all of us to speak up.
I will ask. Will you?
We ask her, Leonard, what's the first thing he would do when he's released from prison?
Well, sit down with my people, visit, and have a good meal, and maybe all cry and laugh and sing together. Yes, I'd be very grateful for that.
How's our volume? So there's again is the number that you all put in your cell phone. You may have recognized somebody in this room is in that video, Lenny Foster. If Lenny will come up, we'll get the microphone on Lenny. You can have a seat and talk to us. Lenny and I, we're on a good schedule. We're trying to visit Leonard Peltier every season. So try and make 4 times a year. And it's a good opportunity for Leonard to get some spiritual advising from Lenny Foster.
I'm going to sit down. And I want to thank all of you. Arnold Tot, again, you didn't need all this. Arnold, Larry, and Hatsa Denilson, Dawson, Hodist, Beilont, Aaron, Hirto, she Kekojana Hotrana, Senigi, Ayegubazil, Garda P, Andrew Thomas, Norman Nolly,
my bro from Sioux City, Iowa, and the rest of you relatives. I want to thank you for coming here and providing the support. I'll keep this short. There's a few things I just want to express myself. That upon my last visit with Leonard, I've known him for 45 years. Joined the American Indian Movement in Denver, Colorado in 1970. He's been locked up going on 39 years. He was arrested today, February 6, 1976. So it's 39 years, a long time to be locked up. He's not an animal. He deserves the right to be home with us. So our prayers are very important. Our prayers are very important. Pipe ceremonies, sweat lodge ceremonies, the sundance. I sundanced with Leonard. The last time he sundanced, and he tied to the tree. That was 1975, Crow Dog's Paradise, South Dakota. And my brother there that made the prayer, sang that song, Mother Earth song, very strong. So we exert our spirituality at the utmost, because this is very important for us. It's could be very well the last time that an effort for reconciliation. You know, our people, our ancestors signed contracts, agreements, treaties. All the indigenous people, Indian people in North America, Western Hemisphere, signed these treaties. And we cannot allow the United States government to forget. Yet they continue to call us names, derogatory and racist names. And one of my sisters who has taken on as a lead plaintiff is here with us tonight to enlighten us. So that's good. And I know Leonard appreciates the love and the solidarity. And I likewise appreciate that too. You know, he's very anxious. He lost a sister here a couple months ago, and he was very distraught, depressed over that. He hadn't seen her since he went to prison. And the last time we went to see Leonard here a few months back, in November, Peter Clark and I, you know, Peter is the international director for the Leonard Peltier Support Committee. So we really, really appreciate all the support people like him in this movement. You know, the Crow Dog told us way back in 1970, Raymond Yellow Thunder, when we converged on the Gordon, Nebraska, he told us that the four colors of the universe, the yellow, the east direction, the white in the south direction, black to the west direction, and red to the north direction. They represent the four colors of the universe, but also the nationalities of this universe. You know, in our belief in this case is our planning. Our essence, our life. That's what we're expressing here by our presence. We bring our medicine. We bring our love and our faith, our prayers, our hope, and then into the north direction, tsehatzin, our faith, our prayers. We never doubt those. And that's what makes us unique. This senator asked me, why do you continue to say your indigenous, Indian rights, treaty rights? I said, we're unique. We're the only people that have treaties with the United States government. No other nationalities have those treaties. And he couldn't answer that. And then he wanted our sweat lodges to be studied, scientific. We know it's successful when we use it. Cleansing and the purification. And Leonard, when I started visiting him in USP Leavenworth in 1986, he loved to sweat. Archie Fire, myself, We used to go in there and visit with him and do the sweat, and he loved it. Now he's experiencing some very extreme health problems, diabetes. So that's why it's very important to continue to pray and support and make those phone calls. We want to transfer him out of there to from a USP, United States Penitentiary, level 5 to FCI, which is a level 3 or level 2, and it's important. He's been a model inmate, and he's a mentor and a revered elder to the younger inmates. He's very talented and artist, painter. So he has many attributes he can provide the Indian people. And I told him that we'll welcome him to Albuquerque, New Mexico when he gets out. And when he does get out, he'll join us here, and he'll be talking here. And I'll just sit in the back and just watch and listen. Norman Dave Benally. I haven't seen him since 1970 at the Sundance in Pine Ridge, South Dakota, when we were all young, 21 years old. Now I'm 67 years old. We Sundanced for many years. And Leonard was right there with us. My brother Larry, he's been Sundancing maybe 35 years. And there's others, Gardapi here, and Andrew Thomas and his family. It's good to see people like that to keep hanging in there. So we want Leonard out. Jo even gaan dood, daar ze niet zijn, jo het uitzetteel zijn. Die kwartje schikke, sinne da I lei begin with die sa, jo egot abe lot ebik hode dan gaan dood daar. Jo niet zijn, egot uitzetteel zijn. Alle die tratschepa hasne egi, chargeel biaj busy hallon jo egot jo je netle. Leonard. Ado gehat. I know that he appreciates your support and your presence, and I'll take some questions here. And I think our sister here, Amanda Blackhorse, I have a grandson named Blackhorse, Jean. It's a beautiful name. Dene, one of the last resistance, his name was Blackhorse. And then one of the dog soldiers for the Cheyenne, it was Blackhorse. So that's a very powerful name, and continue to support her and her effort to lead us to overcome this racism, the capitalism, as they continue to, these corporations and football team try to belittle us and make fun, and the extreme racism that she has to undertake. They call her bad, derogatory names, and she doesn't deserve that. She just has a compassion and a heart for her people. So you have a wonderful person here who's going to talk to us about her struggle, our struggle. Her struggle is our struggle. Remember that. Yeah, Peter.
Okay, well, Lenny, you use this microphone, Lenny, and give this to anybody. Go ahead, that's on.
Can you hear me, Norman? Okay. I'm a Kia Ani. It's a Tarn House, born for Tsatlani, Mountain Cove. And my Chays are Topahe, River Edge. And my Nollies, my paternal grandparents, are one who walks around. I just want to let you know, and I'm from Fort Defiance, Arizona, live in Window Rock, and I'm very honored here to be among you and to continue this struggle for human rights and reconciliation. They have to make that effort to make that reconciliation with us. Thank you.
And Lenny, if you hold that mic, we'll try and take a couple questions. Okay. Does that anybody want to raise their hand with a question for Lenny? Everybody satisfied? There we go.
My name is Norman Dave Benally. We go back quite a few years with Lenny, and I was pretty young. He was going to college. I was happened across his trail. We're up there in Pine Ridge, one of the celebration a few years back, and you know, at that time, you know, we're at that age that there's a lot of adventures. We're seeking a lot of seeking some of our curiosity, who we are. We're just relating to what we have all in common. So, you know, as indigenous. And today I tell the young people, I tell the people that we have something in common global-wise. We all are landlords. There's people that have struggles through their continents, their homeland. We're just like them. We're landlords just like them, like the people that's overseas, over the big ponds throughout the world. So I encourage young people to let's grow. We've been living our private life. We're getting older. So young people, it's in your hand to keep this movement going, the struggle. And knowing that Obama is coming to the end of his term, nobody talked to me about it. In my mind, back of my mind, I thought about this is our chance. I got to think positive, that there is potential of Leonard being pardoned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody have a question they want to ask Lenny before we? Oh, Zupai.
Yate go.
Oh, yeah, they
Go Nina Postaskin. Secretary Maker Clan. I am honored to be here. Let us thank the Creator. To live and to die and to come back is a spiritual gift. There is a place for all humans. We asked for a change. We asked for spirituality. Then you must accept death. It is the only way out of this world. The white man says, and his system says, he has money. He has politics. He has religion. Then where is the heavenly divination from that power? Where is it? Now, one martyr has been set free. The others will march after him. When I went there to the Creator's house, I came back with a gift for Leonard Peltier from the Rainbow Nation, from the Flying People, from the Winged People Nation. For that I am honored here to stand here with Peter and a very special friend of mine, Winnie Russell. This is their birthday. Let us give this birthright to Leonard, a new way to respect his traditional beliefs, his fundamental beliefs in the world that was created. We didn't have to ask for this diaspora or this dispensation. That is not the way to become spiritual or holy. You must accept death to be a spiritual person, a holy man. Leonard is there because he did what the Creator has gifted him to do. He's very victorious, very honorable. To die by the gun is not sacred. To die by the point of an arrow is holy. I'm going to pass this sacred gift to him. This is a staff that was given to me by the Rainbow people, South America. I want to stand with him, smoke the Red Nation tobacco with him. I want to close the door of the magnanimity of injustices that was imposed on the human race, the life way and the cycle of the holy way. Now we must return to that place where we can pass on our love, liberty over standing victory eternally. Peace can mean people for environmental awareness and cultural exchange. Ho kawapuela, washte.
Thank you. In my part here, I want to introduce our next speaker, our sister. In closing, I want to say, don't call me savage, don't call me redskin, and don't call my beautiful Indian women squaw. With that, I want to introduce Amanda Blackhorse to come here and talk to us about the issues around the Washington football team and the racism that she has experienced.
Good evening, everyone. Yat'e she Amanda Blackhorse dashijne. Ashihin shlon trachin ibashishin. Sina Jenny dashichedo ashihin dashanella. Zitlan saden yisi nasha. DJ ya konsh shalchin bitlin aj kwaeske. Although my brother over here is the opit that ni kai hehe kwa. Thank you for making space for me and allowing me to come and speak about an issue that I am very passionate about. An issue that has come to the forefront within the last 2 years or so and has taken this nation by storm, has taken the world by storm. And I remember 8 years ago when we filed this case, hearing about the issue in the national news one time a year was the greatest victory to us. And now it seems that almost every day, every week, there's a new development. We have new supporters. We have a tremendous amount of change happening, and I'm very, very happy about that. And I just wanted to say thank you to everyone here for supporting the issue. And today I was speaking at the American Indian Studies Conference over at the University of New Mexico. And we talked a lot about decolonization, we talked about colonization, we talked about historical trauma, and I believe the mascot issue falls right into that. Because the mascotting of Native people began long before you and I were born. It's not something new. People think, well, why now? Why are you making a fuss about this now? Well, this has been going on for decades. It has been going on for over 100 years. The idea of mascotting was very, very popular back in the 1930s when I call them the native minstrel shows, when they would put shows out to see cowboys and Indians fighting. And it was a time of the noble savage, and where white people loved to see Native American people fighting with the headdress and riding a horse and being fierce and warrior-like and that sort of thing. And I know those are all stereotypes of us. Not that we're not brave, not that we're not fierce, and we have some very strong warriors here. But that is America's image of us, and that is what they think of us, and that's the only thing that they think of us most of the time. And so when we look at it from that perspective, throughout all of these decades, these sports teams have been profiting off of that. And we know that the mascotting of Native people is a very lucrative business, and they are making billions and billions of dollars off of us. And we have absolutely no ownership in that whatsoever. And so I think it's a huge problem. I think it's a huge problem when they mock us, patronize us, and bully us, and treat us like we're not even human. You know, when you take away the humanness of a person, they are an animal. And a lot of times we're compared to animals. People say, well, what now, you know, if we take away native mascots, you know, is PETA going to get involved and try to take away the bears or the lions or whatever? And I say, well, are you saying that we're comparable to animals then? Because that's really what they're saying. And so people, I think, at the very least, have to think of us and look at us as human beings first. And right now, I don't think that's the case. I don't think that they think of us in that way. And so what this does is we demand respect as Native American people. We're telling them we are no longer here for your fun and games. We're no longer going to be your mascot. We're no longer going to dance at halftime for you. We're no longer going to do the war cries for you. You know, we're not just people who dance in powwows. We're a lot more than that, and that's something that we have to demand as Native people. I think what I've been very, very happy about is the support that we get from, you know, people like President Obama, people, you know, who are, I guess, our prominent leaders in the national community. But what I am most happy about are the people, indigenous people like you and I, who have stood up to say that, who have stood up to say, I'm no longer going to be your mascot, and who have protested. You know, there's been a string of protests in this last year all over the nation, and I don't even have my hand in half of those. It's just happening. People are just doing this because they feel like it's the right thing to do, and now's the right time to do that. And so that's what makes me so proud, is to see Native people taking this on for themselves and being proud of who they are and demanding respect. And I think that part shows these billion-dollar corporations that we're not going to back down, that we're present, we're here, we're human beings, and we're going to demand respect. And huge part of that, I believe, is in the protesting. For me, I got a lot of influence from the American Indian movement. And I remember being really, really young, and I guess the age of my oldest here. And I knew that something was wrong with this world. You know, this can't be right. We can't have all this violence in our community. We can't have all this alcoholism, domestic violence, and all this abuse. You know, something's wrong with this because, you know, natives really aren't this way. Where did this come from? And so when I began to learn more about where it comes from, historical trauma, colonization, and then I discovered the American Indian movement. It just made me so proud as a Native person. It finally it gave me something to be proud of. And you know, my sisters and I used to protest in high school. You know, our principal called us a dumb Indian one time, and we protested that. We had a walkout. The school board was mismanaging our funds and putting more money in their own pockets, and we protested that too. And so I think the power of protest is so important. And the American Indian movement and leaders like you who stand up for other people is very important, because it's going to influence our youth. And they're going to take on these practices, and they're going to want to have a better life and give a better life to their children. And so one of the biggest moments in the Change the Mascot movement was in Minneapolis, Minnesota, the birthplace of the American Indian movement. And it was great. I mean, there were, 5,000 natives. Well, maybe not all natives, but there were 5,000 people, mostly natives, who came out to march with us. And it was amazing, so overwhelming to see that. And it was so great. The largest ever Change the Mascot movement happened there. And I got to speak there. And it was so emotional for me, because at one point, like I said, I remember it just being just a few of us doing this. And then to see the tremendous amount of support is just overwhelmingly emotional. And it was really good to see. And so I remember back in 2005, we protested at the Kansas City Chiefs played the Washington team in Kansas City. And a group of us and I went out there and we protested, and the late Vernon Belcourt came down and protested with us. And he was a strong proponent and person who was leading the fight at the time, way before, I was even born probably. He was a very, very strong guy. So we learned a lot from him. And so I just want to say thank you again. Right now, I'm being sued by the team. They want to honor Native Americans, but they're going to sue Native Americans. That doesn't make any sense to me. But I won, myself and a few other Native Americans, we won our case against the Washington team. The 8-year-long battle we won back in June of 2014, where the Trademark Trial and Appeals Board canceled the federal registrations of the Washington team, including their name and their logo. And that was the second time. That was the second time that the TTAB ruled in favor of Native Americans. The first time was with Harjo versus Pro Football. And so we used Harjo's case in this case, and we won. And now they want to appeal that, so they're gonna sue us. And the process has been just long, but I'm always hopeful. I feel like this is the time to do this. This is a time where change is going to happen. We should be, if we're going to go to trial, we're going to go to trial sometime in June of this year. A ruling could come sooner than that, probably sometime in May. And so until then, we'll just continue to go strong and continue to reach out to people like what we're doing right now. So that's that. And thank you, everyone, for your support. Kat.
My name is Nick Estes. I'm with Red Nation. I have some announcements, but before that, are there any questions for Amanda?
Hi, I've been to a few of the protests that went on here in New Mexico and Texas regarding the Redskins name. And one of the questions that news reporters would ask and other people would ask is, how is Redskin a derogatory name towards Native Americans? I think maybe some people here don't really know, but maybe if you, I know from what I would say, my understanding of what it means, but if maybe you could enlighten everybody about what it means or how it's derogatory.
Okay. So the R word is what I call it. It's derogatory for many reasons. First of all, in our communities, do we call each other Redskin? Do we call each other that? I didn't grow up calling any of my friends or anyone. I know sometimes there's a slang, like people say skin. And to me, that's a slang word. That's equivalent to the N word with an A at the end. We can do it, but they can't, kind of thing. And that's just within our own community. Do I use that word? No, I don't. And I think it's a generational thing. Like my grandmother would never say that. Some of people I went to college with, maybe, But the word redskin comes from a time when we were in extermination. So our population was being exterminated. And so as a way to do that, the government would hire bounty hunters to go out and kill Native people. So in order to show that you made your kill, you have to scalp the person or skin the person. They would sometimes take off ears, nose, hands, genitalia, and skin to show that they made their kill. And there was a tier effect. Some places they say that women, they paid more for a woman and then a man, and some places a man, if you got a man, killed a native man, you would get paid the most. So then a man, woman, and then a child. And so they were paying a large amount of money to do this, and some people could make a really great living just bounty hunting native people. And if you look into the archives, you'll find a lot of articles and posters that say bounty hunters needed $250 a head. And a lot of it happened on the East Coast and throughout the plains, but actually there's more evidence that shows that it even happened here in New Mexico and in Arizona. And so, you know, when people say, well, that didn't really affect my community in the Southwest, well, yes, it did. It was happening here. And so that's where the term comes from. Thank you.
But you was talking about high school and the things, you know, the racism. You know, one of the big things, I went to a school, maybe probably never hear of it if you live in the next town, you know, a small town, Sasakwa, Oklahoma. And the school name was Sasakwa Vikings. And we was playing this team for homecoming. And at homecoming, they always make these posters and they show people, you know, beat these people, beat that people. Well, the other team that my school was playing was called the Asher Indians. And so they, you know, they had all the students draw things, you know, saying beat the Indians. But they literally put, kick them back to the reservations, had a Viking cutting a native's head off. I mean, you know, if that's okay to them, I mean, like I said, it is good that you're doing this, and I appreciate that. And like I said, I look up to you. And I don't want my kids to have to go through that either. You know, they said, I know a lot of people try to say 90% of Native people don't find the R word offensive. You know, they did a little survey. Well, I like to see a non-Native go where I come from and start calling everybody the R word and see if 90% of them don't get mad at them. So, but I just want to say thank you, and we're here to support you and keep doing what you're doing. And you know, the more they throw at you, the stronger you are, and the more you influence, you know, the younger generation. Mm-hmm. I want to say thank you, and you know.
Thank you. Yeah, so I think that it definitely does promote violence, whichever way you look at it. I think that, you know, when you have people say, well, why don't we just call them the Washington Warriors and, you know, change the logo a bit? I think there's too much room for error there. There's just people are going to interpret it that way. You're going to have the opposing team making up something that they, you know, these stereotypical images or whatnot. It's going to happen. And I think that we just need to get rid of Native mascots altogether to eliminate that, the era of violence.
I don't think we can pass through this conversation, and Nick probably knows a lot more about this than I do, but up in Rapid City just recently, there was that team that was had things thrown on them and called them names. So it's important to understand that these things continue in our lives right now today, and that was just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't think that there was a mascot involved, but just the fact that that sort of violence is condoned against little kids, and they didn't do anything about it until it hit the news. And then I hear just recently another woman was attacked again at the same place. It's horrible.
And I think what Hatuk was saying and the woman back here towards the children is that racism is still very much alive today and being taught to children of all races to be racist towards each other. And what went on at the school that Hatuk went to, what went on at that, was it a hockey game? It just shows us that racism is still very much alive. And to support what you're doing, what you represent and what you stand for is something important for me and my children and these are my children right here. And I very much, I applaud you for it.
Hi. First of all, it's an honor to meet you. I've been following your entire story and on through the courts. But I think I read something about that. Wasn't the team originally called a different name? Weren't they renamed to a slur from their original name?
Yeah, the team actually started out in Boston, and they were called the Braves. So the people confused them, of course, with the baseball club. So in order for them to not be confused with baseball, they decided to rename it to the R word. And people say, and they continue to say that the team says, well, he did it. The founder named the team the R word because the coach at the time was Native American, so he wanted to honor him, and that's why he did that. But they found evidence in the Hartford Courant, a newspaper from 1933, that actually quotes George Preston Marshall, who was a very, very racist, proudly openly racist man, who said, "No, I did not name the team after Lone Star Dietz, our Native American coach. I named it because I wanted to set our team aside from the Braves at the time." So there goes their claim that they're trying to honor Native American people. And actually, Lone Star Dietz wasn't Native American. They found that out later on. He lied, said he was Native to evade the draft.
Yate.
Oh, yate.
Shay Kerry Jones, touching Islam. Machine Basishin, Kitlachini Shiche, Setna Jinesh, Nala. I'm from close to Chaco Canyon. I'm from a little place called Pablo Bentaro. And right now, it's hard for us too, because my people, my community goes through a little place. We go through a high school that I used to graduate. They're called the Ne Warriors, the People's Warriors. And it's good for us. But right now, there's a war going on with the kids down there between Kiba High School. They're called Kiba Rams, but right now there's a war going on between the kids, between Nakais, Mexicans. And there's people going on right now. It's really hard. The last time I done rock, that Mexican threw a rock to an older Native Navajo lady. It ain't right. And right now there's a war going on down there between mascots and mascots too. And this war is going on for so long in where I come from. But my people, my Navajo people in my community, they're staying strong because we go with our people. That's why a guy who I give respect to, who's a white man, who's been our principal for 10 years, gave us that name as the Nef Warriors, saying that it's not just it's not just who we are, it's the peoples. The Neh not the Nitla. We're the Nef Warriors, and that's why we give respect to him. But at the same time, it's hard because we have to see every day because of what John Henry Ford says, kill the Indian, save the man. That ain't right. And the same thing goes with the Philadelphia Braves. They say with the logo with the Indian that's smiling with the big old red face. That ain't right. We need to go more than that. We need to take every single mascot that's out there that's a league. Just not Redskins, but take that thing off too. Because that gets me more angry than I'm not that red. And people say that we're savages. We're not. They call us engines. We're not even from a Ford engine. That's what I say. And people say that, are you an Indian? I say, no. You see a red dot on my forehead? No. Because I'm a Native American. My people have been living here for a long time. So I come from the roots of the Chaco Canyon area. My grandmother's from there. My mother's from there. So we live in Chaco Canyon for so long that right now I'd rather fight for the Chaco Canyon fracking that's going on right now too. Because that's not right for us. Government's taking over our our oil. And grandmothers and grandfathers out there are fighting for it too. And at the same time, they're giving respect for code talkers down to Redskins. It's not. He made a fool of himself too. Ben Shelley. Why he's going down there sitting right there with a Redskin cap on his head, sitting right next to the owner of the Redskins. It's a big fool. He's making a fool of himself. That's just not right for me. That's why I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to have you stand right there and fight for us. For our young warriors out there, they need to come here. They need to come here, and you need to go down to our schools that are out there and teach them how to do. There's nothing else we can do but have them to keep fighting. There's no way we're gonna get tired of it, because right now our elderlies took it, but us younger ones, we're gonna fight through it because we got tired of it. Getting name picked on. It's no more. That's all I have to say right now.
Thank you.
We have 2 more questions.
Hi, I just wanted to know how our indigenous rights fit into this, because when you say that we don't know, or that we don't, that we can't do anything about it, doesn't our indigenous rights protect us somehow? That nobody can be making a profit from us, no matter who they are, and have to prove it? That's our indigenous right. And I just wanted to bring that up because I don't know how this wins the cases, or if it has anything to do with winning that case. I don't know the details or nothing. I just wanted to know. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. With the Trademark Trial and Appeals Board, they have something, a clause that states that you cannot trademark anything that is disparaging to a group of people. And so that is the claim that we make, is that the R word is disparaging to Native American people. I mean, you cannot trademark the N word. You cannot trademark and profit off of the N word, so why is the R word acceptable? And I know there are some people currently doing some work on intellectual property rights, and what people can and cannot use as Native American people. No one can go off and make money off of our creation stories, off of our identities, and Okay. So thank you. Yes, I think there definitely is a need to talk more about intellectual property and how we as Native people should have control over what we want, what can and cannot be sold out there.
Last question.
I just wanted to mention the fact that back in 1998, I was a student in a little place called Kyle, South Dakota, and there was a student coronation that went on in a little place called Martin. Now, if any of you are from South Dakota besides Nick, you know what I'm talking about. This student population there was mostly white. They were descendants of farmer kids, and this a buddy of ours, his nieces went there, and they had brought to our attention that the football team would wear blankets and have fake paint on their faces, and they would walk in with that stereotype drum beat. They would have a procession to the stage, and the so-called princesses who were running for homecoming queen was dressed in like buckskin and fake Indian attire, and the medicine man, they called him the medicine man, and he was the one who danced around all of these young girls who were in this in their outfits, and he would pick them up, he would sniff their hair, he would look in their mouths, and this is how they chose the homecoming queen. We went over there one year and filmed it, and then the next year we had a march on Martin, and we went right in the building and disrupted it, put an end to it. And the following year we saw the homecoming in Martin, South Dakota. All the students were dressed in regular prom clothes, so, we changed it. So.
Well, I think that there is a lot of change happening that way too. I think now people are starting to kind of catch on, and there have been some schools that are there. There was a school in Oklahoma City that recently changed their name as well. I know there's a school in Pennsylvania that's also on their way and doing that. So I think people are starting to realize those things, and those very bizarre rituals that happen like that are happening still in high schools and elementary schools throughout the nation. So it hasn't gone away. It's still there. And I think bringing awareness to stuff like that is very important for all of us, so that, when we put pressure on people, they're gonna they're then forced to listen, and they're forced to make the change. So it's good they made the change.
Thanks for being courageous. There's a guy from Wisconsin. I don't know if you know him, Bronson. Tony. He spoke out. He's on a playoff team, Wisconsin Badgers. He spoke out against that Redskin.
Oh yeah. Last week, or this week, was it?
Yeah, he just played the other day. They're winning, so.
Yeah.
Or Mike Tyson.
Yeah, Mike Tyson. We got a lot of support.
All right, Wopila Tonka, Amanda. It takes a lot of courage to do what she does, and sometimes I think some of us, especially people like herself and some of the elder activists in the room, they know what it's like to stand out there, and sometimes it feels like you're standing alone. And like the lady in the back was talking about, or the gentleman in the back, I don't know if he's still here, but sometimes we have to stand against our own people. Like whether it's Navajo Nation, Ben Shelley, sitting with Dan Snyder, or even my own tribal chairman, I say embarrassingly, invited Dan Snyder to hunt on our land and then build a children's jungle gym with the Redskin logo all over it. Lasted about 3 days before it got covered in paint. So give a round of applause to Amanda.
Thank you.
All right, I have some announcements really quick. Again, my name is Nick Estes. I'm from the Red Nation. Our banner is up there. We're a new organization in Albuquerque. We just had an event last night. And first of all, I just want to say this is really awesome to see all these Native folks out here. I don't see this very much in Albuquerque, getting together for a cause like this. And it's really important because we're a coalition of Native and non-Native activists here in Albuquerque. We don't have an age demographic. We're all over the board. With that, we have young people, we have students involved, we have educators that are involved. And just as Amanda had said, you know, the issues here in Albuquerque, or what they're doing with the Washington football team name, and the fact that a football team name, a sports mascot, can dehumanize somebody, and thus open them up to certain kinds of violence, whether it's physical, whether it's emotional, whether it's psychological. Those are real things, and I think those of you who have been paying attention to the news here in Albuquerque, the murders of Key Thompson and Allison Gorman, Cowboy and Rabbit, should speak to that. How is it that Dene men here in Albuquerque, Native men here, those who live on the street, can be victimized that way and dehumanized in such a way? What society allows that to happen? It's not just a random act of violence. This is structural racism. This is structural elimination. Right now, I just got a text from some people that are watching the Tent City down by the rail yard district, and the city. If you haven't been following that, the city is trying to evict several dozen campers down there. Some of them are native homeless people. Some of them are veterans. They're issuing eviction notices on Monday, but they're not going to follow through with them in probably a couple weeks. So sometime next week, they're going to start moving people out forcefully. They're going to trash their tents. So far, I think the media attention on Tent City has prevented them from actually going in there and behaving like we know Albuquerque Police Department behaves. So if you want to follow that, and if you want to get involved, pull out your cell phone. There's a text alert message system that the Answer Coalition has set up, and if you text at Tent City, just one word, to 23559, and if there's an action to prevent the city from coming in, you'll get a text message. I think people have been bringing awareness to homelessness in Albuquerque for such a long time. The city knows about it. The city hasn't done anything about it. There's been meetings after meetings with tribal representatives from the Navajo Nation, the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center, but they refuse to acknowledge or address this issue. And so if you've been following the case with the settlement with the Albuquerque Police Department as well, in one of the amicus briefs filed by a group of Albuquerque citizens, there was documentation of native homeless men being targeted by APD over on Central and Wyoming, who were being handcuffed and beaten and humiliated by Albuquerque Police Department. So this is a real issue. It's one of the issues that our organization focuses on. So if you want to get involved, you can start by signing our petition to abolish Columbus Day. So we got a lot of things going on. This is a petition that's going to go to the city council or go before the city council. It's also, we're going to try to get it to go before the New Mexico state legislator as well. Bianca Cowboy, who's one of our members, she's with the Senate, the ASUNM Senate. She's working on getting the Columbus Day abolished at the University of New Mexico. It's celebrated or honored administratively. If you think Albuquerque is indigenous land, then why the hell are they still celebrating Columbus? So if you want to get involved with us, but you want to, by signing this petition, you'll be giving us your contact information. We're trying to create a mailing list so that we can get some more events going on. And if you have Facebook, follow us on Facebook. It's facebook.com/The Red Nation. We're working on setting up a website. It should be coming up soon. Our contact information is on the banner over there. We also have a little pamphlet so you can see what we're about. So by signing this petition, if we have an upcoming event, like I think we're getting ready to do some more rollout and movement on this Abolish Columbus Day initiative on the 41st anniversary of Wounded Knee Liberation Day, which is coming up on February 27th. So, keep in contact with us. I'll send these petitions around, and then I'll turn it over to Peter so that we can start eating. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Nick, and thanks to Amanda. Just a couple things before we open the kitchen and eat the food that was provided to us by Unoccupy. Couple couple things I'm going to ask now. Hatuk, there's a bowl over there. If you could start passing around. We're going to pass the hat to help pay for the electricity for tonight, and also to help pay for the food, but also to send money to Leonard's commissary account. He did email me recently that he normally has a good commissary account. Right now it's low, so we decided that that's what we'll do with tonight's event. And then my son Nicholas also has a basket, so we'll pass 2 around. Don't donate twice, there's just 2 baskets. And I'm going to ask everybody, Mike Swick is nice enough to do our sound, and he's videotaping tonight, and Hatuk has a camera over here. So if we could all look into a camera, and if we could all say, I will ask for clemency for Leonard Peltier, and we'll include that in the next go-around, the next campaign infomercial. So if everybody could turn to a camera. Will you ask for clemency for Leonard Peltier? Thank you, thank you. We have, the tables are set up back here. We have a sign-in sheet. Barbara, my wife, has a sign-in sheet for anybody who wants to stay in touch with, specifically for Peltier efforts here. We have some merchandise, stickers, and I'm going to ask Lenny Foster to say a blessing for our food here in a minute, but I did also want to mention and I'm not going to try to, I'm not going to disrespect the Dene language by trying to pronounce it, but there's a group of young people who are walking journey for our existence, and this is fighting environmental racism and extractive mining, and they're really bringing about education in their own community through their own walk. So during our food break, if anybody's here from that walk, I'd like them to get in touch with me because we'd like to honor them after the food. So thank you for your donations and your time. Let's all enjoy the food for 20 minutes or so here, and then we'll have some more words and a closing. So thank you very much. Sorry, I forgot. We're going to have Lenny Foster do a blessing for our food here. It's right here in the kitchen. We can open the door.
Everybody should stand. Please stand for this honor song. Lenny, Larry. Lenny, how cool. Lenny, front and center, how cool. Didn't know I knew that, did you? Yeah. But we're going to honor these folks with an honor song. Everybody please stand. You know that first song that they sang this evening is called the AIM song. And that song came about in 1972 when they had the march on Gordon, Nebraska. There was a native man by the name of Reuben Yellow Thunder, and a group of white ranchers took him, got him drunk, threw him in a American Legion Hall, was having a dance. They threw him in there, made him strip and dance around like an Indian, or what they called dance around like an Indian in those days. Consequently, he died. They put him in the trunk of a car and drove him around. He was an elder man. He was an old man. He was, probably in his 70s. So one of the AIM members who knew how to sing this song composed this, and consequently it became the American Indian Movement theme song. So and I don't, down here, very few people know this song, but South Dakota, Oklahoma, wherever, everybody knows it. I mean, that was one of the main, songs that every drum group knew at that time. So I would just like to let you know that some of these songs here are very sacred. They come from the heart and the mind together. These aren't just what the white man calls chants. These have a meaning. They have a melody, but it comes from the heart. The movement is a movement of love and peace. The American Indian movement isn't about occupying a building, grabbing a gun, being mean and tough. That doesn't have anything to do with it. It's what you have in your heart and your mind, your spirit. You see a need where the people need help. Gallup, New Mexico, Farmington, New Mexico. Our native people are struggling. Our native people are getting harassed by the cops, by rednecks, whatever. And that's still going on. This is the 21st century, and that's still going on. They call us drunks. They call us savages. They call us, go back to the reservation. But what people need to realize is this whole damn country is Indian country. This whole, from one end to the other, is native country. This is our homeland. This is where we live. This is where we grew up. They tell us, go home. Well, we are home. Whether we live in the city, whether we live on the reservation, or whether we live, in Alaska or Mexico, that's our homeland. South America, that's our homeland. North America, that's our homeland. We've been here for centuries. We didn't walk over here on an ice bridge like the anthropologists like to say, oh yeah, all the Indians, they came from somewhere else. They all walked over on an ice bridge, baloney. Each tribe has their own creation story. That's where they came from, under the earth. We're all part of Mother Earth. Some of us came from the stars. So I just wanted to let everybody know that the singing here, very sacred. So we're going to have them sing the AIM song, and if you could, I appreciate it if you could dig into your pockets. These guys came from Arizona on their own. 2 of them are from here, but the majority of them, they need gas money, and it doesn't have to be, $1,000 or $100, just whatever you have. You know, that's the beauty of us. You know, that's the beauty of our people. We share. I may have $2. My brother over here, he may need $1. Here, man. I may not have anything at home to eat, but he needs $1, so here, man. That's the way we were raised. That's the way we were brought up, you know, to share. If you have something, share it. You know, okay, oh yeah. And I'd also like to thank the cooks and the servers for providing the food. I'd also like to thank the people who work here for allowing us to be here. And I'd also like to say a special thank you to Peter Clark and his family for helping, you know. I've known Peter, you know, a few years, and nothing against him, but the first time I came for the Peltier event, there was a handful of us here. That was it. Very few of us were here, but we were here, and that was the main thing. Now look, you know. So I appreciate all of you coming out here on your time. And, you know, the American Indian movement isn't anti-white. You know, Red Nations isn't anti-white. You know, we welcome everybody because that's the way we were taught, we were raised. We accept everybody, you know. So with that, I would just like to say many thank yous, Palama, Aho, Hakia, to each and every one of you. Gracias. How do you say that in German? Oh. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to have him close out with the AIM song here. And also keep in mind, we had a request earlier about a family who had lost their loved ones. And I would, as they sing this song, say a prayer in your mind about this family so their family can be comforted. You know, losing a loved one is hard. So I just want to say that. Huh? Okay. My brother here would like to say a few words. So hang on.
I'd like to give thanks to Sam here and Peter Clark and the cooks and the drummers and, you know, the people that let us, you know, lend us this building. And, you know, when you go home tonight, you know, just think about it, you know, think about why we're here, think about, you know, all these people here, you know, and remember Leonard Peltier, what he done for us, you know. My father was good friends with him, and, you know, over the years, you know, I've seen a lot of people, you know, a lot of faces, new faces, you know, people that continue their work, like these brothers and sisters back here, you know. And like I said, it's good to see these people still at it. I see these people, see some of my brothers over here at, you know, some places out of Albuquerque. I believe we was on Longmire set one time. But like I said, I want to, you know, give a shout out to Leonard Peltier. And remember, you know, he's in there, you know, fighting for each and every one of us rights. I mean, he gave his whole, you know, all of his life fighting for Native rights. And then they took him, you know, and locked him up for that. You know, they try to silence him. He's a symbol for us, you know, as resistance, resisting all those years. But they're trying to make it a symbol as this is what we'll do to you. We'll silence you, you know. If you want to be like Leonard Peltier, we'll lock you up like him. But you know what? We're going to keep on, keep moving, keep pushing forward, and keep doing what you're doing. You know, it don't matter what color your skin you are, where you're from. We all have the, you know, we all have that voice. So I just want to say, keep strong, and thank you to everybody here. And I believe it's mid-noon. All right, we're gonna go with the AIM song. And throw them $1 if you got one. Take it away.
Yeah.
John